Welcome to the Williams warm-up. We're going to Australia, to Melbourne very soon, which is one of my favourite places to go racing. It's a brilliant track. It's an incredible atmosphere with hundreds of thousands of people coming every single day to see us race around the track. And it's also been a track that's been good to us in the past. You saw in 2023 with a car that wasn't as good as this year, we were still able to compete somewhere near the front and there was absolutely points available. You also saw it was a chaotic race, and that comes in Melbourne. Often when I've gone there, one day's been incredibly hot, the next day's been very, very cool, and predicting those weather changes is quite important to getting the right car on Sunday for the race. So from our perspective, there's lots of performance still locked in the package that we have, and we hope to deliver a lot of that in Melbourne.
Celebrate the Australian Grand Prix returning for 2024 with our official collection. The t-shirt and cap double act feature an iconic design inspired by the coffee culture that Melbourne is so famous for. And the cap is no ordinary cap, because underneath the Williams Racing logo on the side panel is an NFC tag which, when scanned, will take you to a unique webpage with more on the story behind this special collection.
Happy with a haircut, so looking sharp. Shall we?
Yeah, give us a clap.
I'm Gaetan Jego, race engineer for Logan Sargent. James is just here. No, James is at home. He has to stay at home, work from home today. He's going to be traveling to Melbourne. He hasn't forgotten about anyone from the audience. He's missing you. I'm sure you're missing him a lot. He's a lot more fun than me. Well, when we're together, we're more fun. Alone, we're a bit boring, but no, he'll be back soon. We're like this, don't worry. Yeah. And it's really good to be back, to have a week. You can have a bit more time to do things in details, your job, and then you're back in the deal with the race driver to prepare the coming events. And you also have the opportunity to be a bit at home, enjoy your family. Most of us, we got like Friday off, so it's a bit of an extended weekend, and you can reset and be ready for Melbourne, because we go to morning at 5 in the morning, so it's quite early trip. I don't think it was disappointing. It obviously missed a point. And with Stroll crashing, you had the opportunity for one of the non-top 5 team to score, which as did with Hülkenberg, and in fairness, they made what probably a lot of us would have tried to do. They had a good strategy. Magnussen, you can maybe wonder how far he would go, but he did a good job, and they ultimately came back home with a point. If we look at our performance, I think that without what Magnussen did, we were probably one of the strongest teams to be in line to score that point. You cannot be disappointed about the fact that you could have scored points if you had operated the car normally in Bahrain, and you were in a position to score points again in Jeddah. So I think the fight is very much on with quite a few teams, but we're putting the fights with them, so that's good, I think. All the factories pushing really hard, everybody's pushing really hard. We know how FW46 is better than the 45, but we know also what needs to be improved. So everybody at the factory, design office, aero, are working really hard to bring updates, and there are going to be updates very soon, but I cannot be more in detail, sorry. Very different. It's on the other side of the world. It's a 2-day trip to go and 2-day trip back, and you stay there 4 days, so it's as much traveling as you stay there. Melbourne is amazing. It's a non-permanent track. It's an amazing track. It's not a city track as per se like Monaco or Jeddah, but it is between walls. Walls are close by, so any mistake can be very costly. There's a very large track evo because it's not permanent track. The weather is always a factor. I think a week ago it was more than 30 degrees, and we're gonna go there, it's gonna be 15 to 20 risk of rain, so it's always a factor. It's a track that race drivers don't know that well because they only race it when they go most of the time in F1. No, F2 goes as well, which is good for the young drivers. But it's going to be only the second visit for Logan, for example. So there's still a lot to learn. But yeah, I think it's an amazing track. Very high speed section in the middle of the track, but also some low speed corners. Very difficult. Quite twisty at the end of the lap, so you can easily make a mistake as you try to close the lap and just mess up a bit from a very clean lap to do mistake on the penultimate corner, for example. So challenging track, amazing track. Points, I think. We need, again, I think we said it before Jeddah, we want to be that team that is in position to score points if anything happens in the top 5 teams. So we need to be in that position again. Everyone had a long winter at the factory. They worked really hard to bring the car in time for testing the first races and for us to have a race quantity. They're still pushing really hard. I don't think they have a break, but they're a bit. Everyone is pushing really hard. Logan is good. I think it's always a bit frustrating when you have a weekend where you don't think you put everything. But we're trying again in Melbourne, and I think he likes Melbourne. I think he did well in Melbourne last year until the restart where there was an incident. But he's definitely going to be beat. He's definitely going to be there, and he's going to give everything. He's good.
After a decade of racing in Adelaide, the Australian Grand Prix first arrived in Melbourne in 1996, with Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve securing a 1-2 finish for Williams Racing. And further podium finishes have also come the way of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Ralf Schumacher, Juan Pablo Montoya and Nico Rosberg whilst in our team's overalls. Known worldwide as one of the greatest sporting cities on the planet, the Australian Grand Prix has unsurprisingly flourished in the state capital of Victoria and is a hugely popular event with the fans. A record crowd of over 444,000 people attended the 4-day event last season. The temporary venue was created by linking up some of the major roads around Albert Park, namely Lakeside Drive and Orty Drive, with the layout remaining unchanged until some key alterations were made ahead of the 2022 running. Those tweaks made this street circuit quicker than ever before, with slower corners removed in favour of fast-flowing sections. The run from Turn 7 across the top of the lake is a breathtaking flat-out stretch before drivers fling their cars into the mightily impressive Turn 9-10 chicane. It's a great place to admire these incredible machines at work. As with most street circuits, overtaking is difficult but not impossible. The 2023 running of the Australian Grand Prix saw 29 on-track moves completed, more than the likes of Silverstone, Montreal and Baku. Turn 1 has seen plenty of action down the years, as has Turn 3. Both have braking zones at the end of DRS sections. Similarly, Turn 11 does see the occasional overtake made, but any attempted moves here fall into the high-risk, high-reward category. After coming so close to points in Saudi Arabia 2 weeks ago, the team will be hoping for a top 10 finish for the first time this season. And that's not all, with our academy drivers also in F2 and F3 action. So make sure you don't miss a beat from a big weekend of racing by following along at williamsf1.com or on the official Williams Racing app.